Hey knitters, it's Made by Devry with another tutorial. I've had a request to break down the steps to making the tail on my mermaid tail blanket, my Dory blanket, and Nemo and shark blanket. I'm first going to kind of show you the basic idea for the tail. So you start off with the amount of stitches the pattern tells you. You're going to work a few flat rows, straight all the way across. And then you're going to work a series of short rows where you're not working all the stitches, you're only working a few that the pattern will indicate. Back and forth, and then after that the pattern will tell you to knit all the way across, and then you'll work the short rows on this side and then work all the way across. So to better demonstrate that, I've got a little sample here that I'm going to kind of show you how that's done. So I've got my circular needles here. I love working with circular needles, so I try to use them as often as I can, but the tail is worked flat, so you can use really long straight needles if you prefer. I have about 22 stitches on my needles. This isn't the exact number that is used in the pattern, but it's enough that we can get the idea without needing to work so many stitches. So I'm going to start by we're going to just say we're going to knit about 10. So we're going to knit 10 stitches across. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so I have 10 stitches here. I'm going to perform the wrap and turn. You're going to bring the yarn in the front of the work here. You're going to slip that stitch purlwise. Bring the yarn back and then slip that stitch back over. So we've just wrapped the yarn around that stitch, okay? Then we're going to turn our work, place the yarn in the back, and now we're going to work back those same stitches that we just did. We're not doing anything with these. They're just going to stay on the needles. They're not going anywhere. We're just not working them right now. So let's knit back the 10 stitches, and each row will indicate how many stitches you need to work back, but you're just basically working back to the beginning of the row or to the end, all the stitches that you've just worked. Okay, so then you'll have another short row, so let's work 8 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, you're going to bring your yarn in the front. You're going to slip that stitch, bring the yarn in the back, and place that stitch back on that left-hand needle. Okay, we're going to turn our work, place the yarn in the back, and then knit across those stitches again. So, that one's going to give me a hard time. So again, we've only worked the stitches on this side. We haven't worked these ones, but they're still there. They're not doing anything. They're just hanging out, waiting their turn. Okay, so a few of the short rows are going to have you increase, and that creates a really nice flare in the tail. Also, in a few of my other patterns, it uses the same technique. So this would work there as well. But what you're going to do in the beginning is you're going to knit to the front of that stitch and knit in the back of that stitch, and now we have a 1 stitch increase, and then we'll say we're going to knit across 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, perform that wrap and turn again. Yarn in front, slip, yarn in back, slip back, turn. Okay, then we're going to knit. Now this time you can see that we did the front, worked the front and back here, so we had 2 stitches, and then we knit 6. So in order to knit all the way back, we're going to have to work 8 stitches because we have these 2 here. But the pattern is always going to tell you exactly how many stitches to work. Okay, so we've knit all the way back. Okay, so you can even begin to tell that we've got this really nice shaping already from these short rows here, and if we continued on in the same manner, we would have a really nice shape up here. So now once you work through the pattern for all the short row shaping, there's going to be a row that tells you to knit a certain amount of stitches, and it's a large number. So it's going to feel weird because you've been knitting small numbers this whole time, and then all of a sudden it says, you know, knit 30 or whatever it tells you to knit. So you're going to feel like, well, okay, that's kind of confusing. But what it's actually doing is now you're going to work on all the stitches. You're going to knit all the way across, which will put you on the other side ready to repeat all the short row shaping on the other side. So now all those stitches that were just hanging out waiting their turn, now they're going to get to be worked, and these stitches on this side that we've just finished working with, now it's their turn to wait patiently until we get the other side finished. So you'll work all the way across, okay, and now these stitches here on this side, they're going to hang out. They're going to wait for us to be ready. So now we're going to perform some short rows on this side, and it's the exact same amount of short rows. So we'll start with the 10, seeing how that's what I did on the other side. So knit 10. Two, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then I'm going to pull my yarn in front to do the wrap and turn, slip, pull it back, and then turn my work and knit back those 10 stitches again. So with this, you kind of get the idea, hopefully you're getting the idea, that you're not doing anything with, you're not going to work all the stitches, you're only going to work some of the stitches. These stitches are just going to hang out and wait for you to come back around. Okay? So you'll work the short row shaping on this side the same way that you did this side, and then it's going to tell you to knit another large number. And of course, after you've done all these short rows, you're kind of thinking, well, where the heck did that number come from? It's the number that all the way across the stitches, and it will grow because you do work some knit front backs. You do increase on a few stitches, a few rows, so the number will be slightly bigger than what you started with. Hopefully this clears up any trouble understanding the pattern that you guys may have. Please feel free to email me any questions at madebydevery@outlook.com. I'd be happy to answer, and hopefully you are enjoying your Made by Devery patterns. Thank you. Bye.